The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, interactive. Covering the latest in wrestling and beyond, you're listening to the RCWR Show with Lee Sanders and Diamond K.
Man, it always feels weird when I don't hear from you guys in a couple of days. I know we last had checked in with you all over the weekend, gave you that cool Iron Man review. And if you haven't seen it yet, check it out when you get a chance. After you get done listening to this very cool, kick-ass episode. We got a special guest that's in the house tonight. We've been hyping this up as early as last week, going into the weekend, and I'm very, very giddy for this. I have been trying to get her on the show at least for about a month, and it's just been about just catching up with one another. But finally, we're able to do this for you guys tonight. Of course, it was selected as Blog Talk Radio staff pick of the day. So special shout-out to good folks over at Blog Talk Radio for featuring tonight's episode. We got the lovely Katarina Waters, a.k.a. Katie Lee, or you may know her as Katie Birchill, or Miss Winter from TNA. We're going to be talking all things wrestling, also find out the very latest projects that she's been working on. It's going to be a really fun, insightful interview. So just kick on back, relax, have some fun. You're going to enjoy this, trust me. We got a chat room open right now on blogtalkradio.com. You're more than welcome to jump on in there, post a few comments or questions if you have any for our special guests. You can also interact with us, as always, on Twitter. Hit us up at Infinity1Prod. You can also hit us up over at our new show handle at the RCWR Show. And without any further ado, let's go on ahead and let's go right for it. So, without any further ado, Kat, are you there?
Hello, I am.
Hey, hello. How you doing tonight?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, thank you. I just gotta let you know that this what we're doing right here tonight, and this is true right here. What I'm about to say, our newer listeners, they may not know, but our longtime listeners, they can definitely confirm this. We've been on the air for like a year plus. We've done about 200 episodes and counting, and we've never had a female wrestler stop by the show.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, we made history a couple of months back. We welcomed our first female guest, but we never had a female pro wrestler, so it looks like tonight we're making a little bit of history. So for me, personally, this episode has that extra little bit of sentimental value to it.
Well, I'm excited to be part of that.
Oh, yeah, we appreciate that. It's good that we're here tonight because I'd like to begin by asking you, and I thought this was a great opening question here. I'd like to get your thoughts on your perspective, that is, on the current state of women's divisions, such as TNA, WWE. I mean, we go from your time in OVW back in 2006 to being called up the main WWE roster, and afterwards departing, hitting the TNA up until 2012. You had the opportunity to work with some really great performers such as Mickie James, Beth Phoenix, ODB, Serena Webb. It seems like there was a time where you could kick back and be excited to watch a women's match and truly feel invested. And I don't like saying this because I'm a huge fan of women's wrestling, but it seems like nowadays, at least when you look at certain promotions, like the ones I highlighted, it seems like for the most part, people, they grow kind of bored quickly, and most feel that it's more of a filler match / dark match than something to watch. It's been said that the women's division in TNA is stronger than WWE, but not on a consistent basis. How do you feel about both divisions from the companies, and is there anything that can be done to improve it?
Yeah, well, I agree and disagree because I find that TNA and WWE, I think, both have really good female wrestlers on their roster at the moment. TNA obviously still has, the ones that have been there, Gail Kim and Velvet, and well, they've always had, great women's wrestlers, and the matches are always great. I think it's just a shame that they've cut back on showcasing the girls. I'll be honest, I haven't watched TNA in the last couple of months or so, but when I was there, we always had a locker room full of girls, and there was at least 2 girls segments, whether it was 2 girls matches or it was, maybe one mixed match and one girls match, or at least a backstage segment or something going on. There was always at least 2 segments, and there was the highest rated, and now it seems that they've cut down so much, like there's one match on the show, and then WWE, I find actually that it's almost, like in parts it's improved since I've been there, because when I was there was so many just 6-girl diva matches where we had like an hour and you might step foot in the ring and do a move or two. It seems that they've cut down on that, and they've had longer, one-on-one girls matches that, I enjoy when I see them. It just seems that there too, they don't have, I think in both, well, maybe not so much TNA, but WWE, I find that they don't have enough of the girls' storylines. They've had some great feuds, some great girl feuds over the time, and it seems that sometimes matches are, like you say, filler matches, and then sometimes suddenly they do something really great, like when they had Lay Cool and Mickie James, that whole feud I thought was awesome. Stuff like with girls like that, or Melina, where they were able to do, I quit matches and, like not TLC, like hardcore-ish matches and stuff like that. And then other times it's just sort of just matches sort of thrown in there. And there would be, I think what it needs for people to get behind it is just a really good storyline. And that's where sometimes it seems they don't want to put that effort into it.
Yeah, it's definitely very weird to watch the current state of it now, and I definitely want to take this time to welcome co-host Diamond K. Diamond, you got a good signal over there, buddy?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, very valid points that you made right there, because I can remember just a couple of different years ago, as soon as you said the whole thing about the Knockouts division, I'm thinking to myself, man, it was entirely different back then. And, yeah, it was one of the most highest-rated segments when we had the Knockouts come out. I mean, we're talking about a completely different time, right, Diamond? I mean, we had Nikki Rocks in there. We had
Absolutely.
Rosita, Sarita. ODB was actually throwing it down. I mean, it was a really good time to be watching women's wrestling. I'm very curious. What do you think about promotions like Shine and Shimmer's Wrestling as they're, paving the new way for women's wrestling?
Well, I think it's really great because they put on. I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't seen any Shine shows. I did do a couple of Shimmer shows, years back. So I know they put on, really great shows for women. So I guess there's a market for people who like to just watch a whole women's show, but again, that's very much a niche. It's it's kind of limited, in terms of the people who want to go and see a show with just girls, versus people who want to go and see the guys and then they want to see a couple of girls matches as well.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. What do you see as the major differences between the two products overall, as you've been in both promotions? Do you feel like one had more of an edge over the other in giving you the creative freedom to portray your character?
I don't know if you can really say it like as a general rule, in both promotions you could, go up and talk to the writers about ideas and stuff. It's always a little bit of, in any type of, in this entertainment industry, there's always a little bit of a subjective, whatever writer you're talking to at the moment, how much they see in you, how much they believe in you, to whether or not they want to, take your idea and maybe, take your input and run with some of your ideas, or whether they want to just, not saying anything about it. In WWE, when I was there, it was probably a little harder because there were so many writers, and they all sort of, there's like a hierarchy to where your ideas have to trickle up to the top, which makes it more difficult, whereas in TNA it was just Vince, and you would go up and talk to Vince Russo. So.
Was that a little frustrating for you? Because, I mean, we hear some of the WWE wrestlers, they say there's like all these writers, there's like 8, 12 writers, and they're all trying to come up with what they want you to do for that week. Is it kind of like, really, 8 to 12 guys compared to a Vince Russo? You're like, hey, Vince, here's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think it's a little frustrating for everyone. I think the problem that as far as I'm concerned, they have is that they do it just from week to week. Rather than really planning ahead and writing out a whole story arc over so and so many months and then basically sticking to it. It seems like every week things change so much. You might have an idea and they have an idea and you're supposed to, arrive at the arena and they say, oh, we're going to do this segment with you. And then they change their mind at the last minute and throw you into something entirely different. So I think just the fact that everything is done so much on the fly hurts the product because then it can't be as refined. If you have like a regular TV show, usually the writers get together and they write out the whole season and you film it and the story arcs are clear and defined and, things happen specific times for specific reasons, whereas with wrestling, it's obviously that there has to be a certain amount of flexibility because of the way that the fans might respond to a storyline that might make you want to change it. But at the same time, when everything's so week to week, it's really difficult to come up with a really good idea, unless you're one of the top guys and obviously they plan it out and, they spend more time on that.
Right, yeah, if you're a top tier, yeah, you're locked every single week. And it's funny you mention that because me and Diamond, we've been going back and forth weekly on this. We look at a guy currently in the WWE right now like Antonio Cesaro. He is a fan favorite amongst diehard Ring of Honor fans, and you just have a sea of angry fans that are like, this guy is pure old school wrestling and he's losing every single week. It seems like he was one of the hottest things going on. Now it kind of seems like WWE doesn't care about him. And I don't really think, to kind of pick up on what you said, I don't think that's the case. It's exactly what you had said, which is you got the writers and, they're doing so much stuff for the top tiers that somebody is bound to get lost in the shuffle, unfortunately, and it always sucks when that happens.
Because it sort of starts, I think, too, with somebody like Antonio Cesaro. He was so hot, and then they go, okay, well, it won't hurt him to lose a couple of times to get some other guys over, and then he's lost a couple of times, and suddenly they don't know where to go with him storyline-wise, and then they go, okay, well, we'll just use him for the matches, and then they sort of forget to put him back in the story. I mean, I don't know if that's what happened with him because I haven't watched that show for a few weeks now, too, but I mean, some guys, it doesn't hurt them, to just sort of coast for a while and they can flare back up. I think Antonio Cesaro is one of those because he's just so good.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's going to ever look like a jobber, but it can happen sometimes through no fault of anybody's.
Were you able to before you had made your exit from TNA, did you have a chance to work with the team of Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan?
They were there the whole time that I was there.
Okay, I was wondering about that. Yeah. Tell me, what was it like working for the trio in a sense of Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff, Dixie Carter versus Vince McMahon? Can you talk about the parallels between the two?
Lots of parallels were in terms of creatively and practically working together. I didn't really have much contact with any of those, because when I was at TNA, my go-to person was Vince Russo for, storylines, and then if we had a segment to do or a match to do, we had the producers and the agents, assigned to those things. So Dixie Carter was around, or was approachable, or was friendly, and obviously you could pitch stuff to her as well, but she wasn't necessarily the person for me to talk to, and the same as Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan. It's hard to say how much involvement they had creatively because that was always sort of denied. That it was their product. It was really, as far as we knew, it was really Vince Russo's sort of creative direction.
And was it kind of weird to see him make his exit? Were you there that long for that?
Yeah, I was. It was very sad for me because I really liked him and I like his ideas. I think that he's very, he thinks out of the box. He doesn't just sort of think wrestling because he didn't originally come from wrestling necessarily. So I thought he had some really cool ideas and I thought it was sad that he left. So, and it just, for me, obviously not knowing the ins and outs and behind the scenes and stuff, it was surprising.
Let's stay with TNA for a moment. In looking at the product as a whole, do you feel at times the swapping of titles within a short time frame hurts the momentum of the person who won it? Perfect example, you won a Knockouts title in TNA. You held it for 18 days before you dropped it to a returning Mickie James. You fast forward to what's been happening in the promotion recently. We saw the team of Austin Aries, Bobby Roode. They held the tag titles for just a couple of weeks, and then they had a lot of great momentum going in their favor. But we see the team of Austin Aries, Bobby Roode. They held the tag titles for a couple of weeks, a lot of momentum going, and then they run into Chavo and Hernandez, drop the titles to them, and it's like, wow, these guys have already been champions multiple times already. Would you agree that it kind of hurts the momentum when you just switch the titles like that all of a sudden?
I agree 100%, especially when it's something that's been built up for so long. Like when it comes to me, it's always hard to talk about these things, from your own perspective, because it always sounds like I just wanted to be champ, But for me, it was like that whole storyline had been built up for so long. It was like almost a year we'd been building. I didn't even have that many matches. It was backstage segments. It was the whole thing with me and Velvet and this and that. And then I make these speeches of we'll have this forever and whatever, and then I win it, and then it's suddenly gone, and it seems kind of like anticlimactic. And then what you say about Bobby Roode and Austin Aries, because they've been building that duo for so long. It goes up to this big, sort of climax type thing. And the same thing happened with Velvet. And I thought that was even worse, because with Velvet, the whole thing was she's been here so many years and she's never won the title, and this is her, like, finally she's winning it, and then the next time she defends it, she loses, and it was just completely, like, pointless. You think, why don't they... she's been waiting for this for so long, and then she should have it, and keep it and defend it, because otherwise it doesn't really, it's just like a fluke win. It doesn't mean anything.
Whereas if you look at a guy like The Rock, who dropped the title to Cena at WrestleMania, a lot of people, they may be quick to say, oh, well, that was just his second title defense, but you got to look at it from that bigger aspect, which is, it was all about passing the torch, making someone else look like the man. If you're going to have somebody be a champion for a short term, the payoff has to be huge. But when you look at examples like what you had just pointed out, there's nothing really to gain from it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you about The Rock too, because I mean he's already done everything. He didn't even need to win the title. I didn't think necessarily, okay, he wanted to pass the torch to Cena, but I didn't think that he needed to win it in the first place. People said maybe they wanted the PR of him being on the red carpet for his movies with the title and everything to give WWE the rub. So it was like a political decision or whatever. But in terms of him actually winning it from CM Punk, I thought that was unnecessary. And it didn't really mean anything really anyways, because he's already The Rock. He's already had it so many times. He's come back as a huge superstar, huge movie star, like the cream of the everything, and then he comes back and he takes it and then he hands it back off again. It doesn't really, it's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah. And now everybody's freaking out, wondering if he's going to come back because he had the whole...
Yeah.
What's your take? Do you think he should come back one more time, or you think he's done enough?
Personally, I think he's done enough, to be honest. I didn't think he needed to. I mean, I'm sure if he loves it, it seems like he really loves it and he loves performing and everything. So then if he wants to do it, then sure, he should have it's not like he's old and he can't move anymore. He can still perform just as well. From a, I don't know, artistic standpoint, I would have said, for him to not come back at all, because he left on a high. I didn't think he needed to come back at all. or maybe like as an ambassador or like as a manager or something like that. But if he wants to do it, then, you know, life's a playground. He should be able to play.
Yeah. You know, on that note, I wasn't even going to ask you this question, but I got to pick your brain because TNA President Dixie Carter, she said something that was kind of interesting, that kind of raised a couple of eyebrows. She was quoted in a AZCentral.com interview saying that Hulk Hogan is more popular than The Rock, and that if you were to put the two, like, in the middle of nowhere, like, for example, Africa, who would everybody in Africa run to more? Would it be Hulk Hogan or would it be The Rock? And I kind of looked at that question, and I'm a comic book buff, so I looked at that question and I'm kind of saying to myself, that's like asking which Joker was the best. Jack Nicholson in Tim Burton's 1989 Batman, or Christopher Nolan's Heath Ledger Joker. You know, that's like comparing two different generations. If you were put in that position, you had to choose. Who do you think would be more popular in Africa?
Well, I don't know if it's a question of more popular. I think Hulk Hogan defined pro wrestling. Because when I first started wrestling, not so much here, but, you know, more in Europe, if I said I was doing pro wrestling or worked for WWE, whatever, some people don't know what it is. And then I would say, oh, you know, the thing that Hulk Hogan does. And people would go, oh, okay. So, like, his name is still synonymous with pro wrestling. Even people who don't know what WWE is or what pro wrestling is, if they hear Hulk Hogan, they have an idea of what it is. And if you say The Rock, they won't make the same connection. So I do believe in that term, he's always going to be the icon. You know, he's the first and the last sort of thing in that sense. I think, you know, when it comes to performing now, who would wrestling fans rather see? I would say it's The Rock, hands down. You know, like in ring, you know, capacity, whatever. But I think Hulk Hogan will always be. He's equal to the word pro wrestling.
Yeah. When you look at it like that, yeah. Something I've been enjoying to watch every now and then when I get the chance to watch it is you've been doing something on Wrestle TV, School of Wrestling Knowledge. I actually like that. How did the opportunity to do that come about?
Well, I went back to England, when was it? July last year. And to go back then, I did a couple of shows out there for Pro Wrestling Eve and New Generation Wrestling, and I did a couple of seminars. And then Alex Shane, who runs the FWA there, and he does the Wrestle Talk TV show. Do you know about the Wrestle Talk TV show? Yeah,
I watch it every time.
That's on the internet, and it's been on Challenge in the UK and everything, and he's brought in guests and stuff like that. So he asked me to be a guest on the show, and then as I was there, it was actually his idea, so he had this idea for these little, you know, snippets of me sort of giving advice on wrestling and life sort of thing. And so we filmed a whole bunch of segments, and, you know, he's been airing that. So we filmed them all at the same time, and then he's been airing them sporadically, so that's been cool.
Yeah, I've actually been enjoying that. Now, you're going to be doing some more of those?
Well, I'd love to, you know, if I get back over there.
And, you know, something I think that's really cool that most people probably don't know about you is that you studied film and drama for a few years.
Yes.
It took you to the point where you actually directed an independent foreign film. Now that you've had the opportunity to be on both sides of the camera, which one do you enjoy more, and why?
You know, it's interesting because I've been asking myself the same question. Because I'm really passionate about performing, and I love acting, and it's a really big thrill. And I came out to LA to do that, and I've done some indie films, and I've just been on a web series called Television, which listeners can look at on blip.tv/television. That's shown SEAN. I'm on episode 6 and 7. But anyways, so I've done, a few things, but I just produced a short film that's called Lucille Means Light, and we're still finishing up the editing and everything like that. But when it comes to being on set, and this was a short film that I wrote, and then I put everything together, and I was directing it, and I had a really awesome, a few people helping me with it. But just being on set and sort of translating what you see in your head onto, what you're seeing in the room, and to people saying your words, and, being involved with the camera, catching what you want to see. It's just like an exhilarating experience. And just in terms of sense of achievement, I'm wondering whether I am more excited about that. I definitely want to make more stuff. For definite.
I can only relate to it, just a snippet, because I did a little bit of theater right on up until sophomore year in high school, and I was also on the side of production. And for me, as much as I had liked performing, I enjoyed all the magic that was done, behind the scenes leading up to it. I think that's more of a fun thrill ride in itself. But to each its own, But I thought that this got to be interesting for you, because it's like, especially like the times that you do go into the ring and you're performing, and you just kind of have that director standpoint of, okay, I know where the camera is, I know what shots they're probably going to be going for. Does that help you a lot when you're in the ring?
Yeah, I mean, it takes a while to get used to all that, because at the beginning all you're thinking is about is the next move, and did you forget something, and there's so many things to think about, because obviously you've put the match together, and then you want to remember all the sequences and everything like that, and you have to remember in between to take your time to show your character, and then also to think about where the cameras are, and to actually look and see which camera has the red light, so that's where you should direct your attention towards, So it takes a while to get comfortable enough to be able to think about all those things at the same time and not, panic, as it were.
Yeah.
So, but as you said, like when you put a match together, you also have that directorial, thing with it, because you're part of the creative process of, making the dramatics of the match, and then you get to perform it as well.
One question that's been lingering on my mind, going back to wrestling for just a hot second, and maybe you can kind of clear it up. You had one very interesting storyline with Angelina Love that I thought was just really, really must-see TV, because I was kicking back, and I've been following your career since WWE, so when you left WWE, I definitely was sad, but when I heard you went to TNA, I was like, yes, awesome.
Thank you.
Now the ante's picked up, and it did pick up. And I thought your storyline with Angelina Love was very interesting, as you had her under this hypnosis spell, and she was pretty much doing your bidding, but it just kind of seemed like before that storyline could reach its climax, it just and folks are kind of wondering what's going on. Was there a finish line to that maybe you could share with folks? Like, I know sometimes when maybe your favorite series ends and you don't get to see the final episode, there's usually some leaked script floating around. Was there a finish to that?
Well, I don't know. It was as surprising to me as it was to you. Because I walked into Bound for Glory, the champ, obviously. We had the match. Velvet beat Mickey, I think. I sprayed blood in Karen's face, who was arguably the top, even though she wasn't a wrestler, she was sort of the top. She became, right after that, the top knockout heel. And then the next week, we were all standing in the ring in the line, and she never even acknowledged me. I mean, that's not a criticism on her. Obviously, it was written that way, but it just seemed odd that was never mentioned, and I was pretty much never mentioned again. So if you're asking about a finish to the storyline, I would assume we'd have to ask Vince Russo, because I'm sure he had something thought out that perhaps the new writing team didn't want to continue.
Shame on their part, because I would have loved to have seen how that would have came about. I mean, you kind of gave me some homework right there. Maybe Vince Russo. Vince Russo next, folks. Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming that there would have been something, with me and Angelina splitting up, and maybe her and Velvet getting back together as a team or something. I'm sure that's what people would have liked to have seen anyway.
This question had came in earlier as we were talking. I got to show him some love. It comes from Dragon Master at Blue Blur Gmail on Twitter. He says, "I have a question for you, Winter. Are you coming back to TNA?"
It doesn't look that way.
Would you like to go back?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't not like to. It's not like I didn't like it there. Ideally, I would like to, focus on acting and stuff like that. The thing was with TNA, of course, was the beauty was that you would have the opportunity to do both things, at the same time. So that was cool. So I wouldn't say necessarily that I wouldn't, but I'm not sad if I don't go back.
Okay. Right now you're in a position where you're good. You're okay.
Yes. And I'm very focused on, the acting and producing too. I definitely, as I said, I want to, have more projects that I'm sort of putting together and working on. So.
And I definitely got to show some love to those that follow the promotion, Shine and Shimmer's Wrestling. Some of them had asked me, please ask her, and I'm asking for you guys, okay? They've seen the little bit of buzz that Angelina Love has been making in Shine, and some folks I wanted to know if it's possible that you can maybe entertain the idea of, continuing your acting career and maybe working for a promotion like Shimmer or Shine on a permanent basis.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, because the two things wouldn't interfere with each other. So, in terms of, wrestling bookings, I'm not going out and, networking and pushing for it. But if somebody asks me, do you want to come and do my show, I usually go do it. So, it's not like I wouldn't want to go there.
That's fair enough. And let me see. I'm just like running off the top of my brain right here. This is the cool part about the show. Nothing is scripted over here.
Cool.
What current projects are you working on right now that you can tell folks about?
Well, as I said, this web series, Television, that's Televisean, and they can watch it on blip.tv/television. Episode 6 and 7 is the ones that I'm in. I just did an indie film called Stay Inside that's supposed to be coming out later this year. I made my own short called Lucille Means Light, which it's sort of a period piece. But of course I'm very excited about it because it's like my own little baby. And I will let people know when that's finished and they can see it and stuff like that. I do a YouTube show, which is just me talking basically. So, but I'm thinking about, some other ideas of making it a little more, having some guests on, stuff like that. So that's youtube.com/Katarina's Infamy. I'm in a film called Adam 8 that's in development. So I don't know exactly when we'll start shooting that.
What's the plot of that one?
It's like a sci-fi film where on Earth all the men are dead. So a bunch of girls go to another planet, and they've been harvesting men to bring back to repopulate the Earth. And then, of course, trouble ensues. So,
wow.
But that's kind of cool because it's got the Amazonian, women in charge and power theme going on, which is always nice.
I dig that. Women are trying to reach males. I like that. It kind of reminds me, and it's on the tip of my tongue. It's going to come to me when I least expect it, but it kind of reminds me of that Roddy Piper movie, just script-wise.
Oh, They Live?
Not They Live. It was the next one he did after that, where it was him and a bunch of women and.
Well, that sounds like a good time.
See, I know. It'll come to me when I least expect it, but that sounds pretty badass. I definitely want to check that out.
So that's great. There's a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Adam8, and that's Adam and 8, the number. So if people want to have a look at that and like the page, that'd be awesome.
Okay. And folks, we'll make sure we provide those links for you all in the episode description and put it on the website after the show's over. On a side note, correct me if I'm wrong, I hear you're a Lex Luthor fan. Is that correct?
I'm a Lex Luthor from Smallville fan.
Okay, so you like the Michael Rosenbaum.
Specifically.
Okay,
yes.
okay. I thought I was
going
to be able to go a little more further than that.
Huh?
I thought I was going to be able to go a little bit more further than that. Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh. Well, that's sort of really the first time I came across him, to be honest. I'm a huge Lobo fan, comic-wise. But other than that, I'm not really like a connoisseur or anything, of comics. But I used to watch Smallville, and I love Lex Luthor's character because he's so, he's good, but he's always got that little bit of evil side to him, that little bit of he'll do anything to gain, and then they tease his heel turn over like 3 seasons. And every time you think that, he's done something really bad, and then you find out that he actually didn't, and he turns back, but you always have that little bit of doubt, and he's always on that fence between good and evil, and I just find that so absolutely fascinating.
By chance, did you see the final episode of Smallville?
No.
I know he had made his return. Yeah, I won't spoil it, but
I stopped when he was no longer in it, and then I never really got back in, which is a shame because also in later episodes Sam Witwer from Being Human is in it, and I'm a big fan of his. So.
Oh, he's the man. Yeah, he's done
awesome.
some awesome stuff. It's kind of like a running gag with him, though. It's like every time he pops up in something, he's always either getting killed or he's always playing the bad guy, and it even kind of tripped him up a little bit. He said, "I wish I could stop getting killed in every single project I'm in."
Well, at least in Being Human, he's already dead.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I think I don't know about you, but I think I don't know what they're going to be doing with this new Man of Steel movie, but we don't know if there's even going to be a Lex Luthor in that one. But if they were to entertain the idea, I don't think they need to look that far. I think Michael Rosenbaum, that's his name. I think he would be phenomenal to come on back in a theatrical version of that, take that Lex Luthor to the next level.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty badass.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any, I know you say you haven't watched the product in a minute, but last you tuned in, were there any angles or storylines or a certain wrestler or even a stable that kind of had you go, I'm kind of liking this. This is pretty kick-ass.
Well, The Shield, I was sort of obsessed, or I am sort of obsessed with Dean Ambrose a little bit. I really liked the Shield thing. I felt a little bit like they brought them in so strong, and then after the first pay-per-view when they won the TLC match, I felt that was the point where they should have started off with a really hot storyline, and they sort of missed the boat on that. But not that means that, that cannot happen now, so I think they're awesome. Obviously, Fandango, everybody's a huge fan of Fandango. CM Punk, obviously, I think he's just one of the best talkers there is. Paul Heyman could read me a phone book, and I would be interested.
Yes, That's the man.
Yeah. So, I should say girls. I don't know.
Yeah, for the girls.
Well, that's the thing, you see, because of the storyline, they don't have any proper. They need to have like a proper. I don't understand why Layla isn't more in the forefront. Because she's a really fantastic character. She's, she has so much charisma, and she's really gotten so good in the ring. I don't know why she's not doing more. And Alicia Fox could be doing more, I think, as well, like storyline-wise.
Yes, I agree.
She has matches now and then, but other than that, it's sort of like you forget that she's there, but you shouldn't, because she's awesome.
The same thing with Christian. Talk about, you forget they're there. It's like, where's Christian? Like, we know he's healthy, but it's like, where's Christian?
Yeah.
Kind of like a Where's Waldo type of thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy right now. Give the links one more time for folks to check you out at.
Yeah, so my Twitter is at Katarina's Infamy. My Facebook is facebook.com/Katarina's Infamy. And then my YouTube is also youtube.com/Katarina's Infamy. Oh, and my website, katarinasinfamy.com, where you can not only, check out different links and this and that and news and whatever, but you can also buy my wonderful Miraculous T-shirt and autographed pictures, obviously.
Well, a long-time fan over here. After the show's over.
Fine.
Yeah, I know where I'll be after the show is over, and that's no bull. look out for Gaithersburg, Maryland. That's going to be me.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, look, I thank you so much for doing this interview, and I always tell guests that come on by, you're more than welcome to come on back. I do want for us to stay in contact, and, we love to have you on back, whether it's talk about a movie project or, if you're doing some charity work or, just want to shoot the hay, You're more than welcome to come on back. It's truly awesome to have you.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been really fun.
All right. Well, you enjoy the rest of the night and the week.
You too.
All right. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Bye. Bye. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, the beautiful Katarina Waters, a.k.a. Kat. Oh, cool. Kick-ass interview right there. Let's go ahead and let's take a brief commercial break. We'll come on back. We'll bring in Diamond K, and it's going to be a real short show. I know some of you are looking at the episode description and you're going, WWE Raw, Katarina Waters. Well, we're not going to go all silly into WWE Raw talk. I may just bring up a couple of key highlights from Monday's show. We'll talk about some brief wrestling headlines, and I do mean brief. You're checking out the RCWR show, Tuesday Night Wrestling Report on May 7th, 2013. We will be right back.
Thank you for listening to tonight's show. If you enjoyed our coverage, be sure to check us out every Tuesday night at 11 p.m. Eastern at blogtalkradio.com/The RCWR Show for all the latest in wrestling news and beyond.
RCWR Show, Tuesday Night Report. So, Diamond Buddy, how about that WWE Raw Monday night, man?
I don't want to say it was a bad episode. I don't know whether or not. I know some people complain that too many pay-per-views back-to-back, they don't like that. And what I'm noticing is with this time in between the next pay-per-view, it's kind of like I don't want to say they're hitting us over the head with things, but they're not really developing any new angles. It's more so, just like business as usual, at least from where I sit. What do you feel about that as far as the I don't want to say the dragging of storylines. I thought it was interesting the way that they capped things off with the Paul Heyman video footage from Titan Towers with Brock Lesnar and all that. But is it me or is the Ryback Cena thing just dragging on?
The Ryback Cena thing does kind of feel like it's dragging. I mean, I was intrigued, but now it just kind of seems like they're like right in the middle of okay, it has potential to really, really go somewhere if you stay with it. But then it just has that potential to just, what the hell were these guys thinking? Okay, so it's in the middle between those two right now. For me, the highlight, Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman going to WWE headquarters. I mean, for me, just visually, just the presentation, something that I haven't really seen, not since DX had tried to go invade WCW. You know, I can't really recall the last time we had a WWE superstar try to go to the WWE headquarters and do some crap. This may be the first time. I got to do some homework, but I
want to say, didn't Austin do something like that?
I'm tempted to say Austin did something. Yeah, I'm tempted myself. That's why I want to do some homework. I enjoyed that. That was the main highlight of the night for me. I thought that it kind of piqued the interest more. It kind of made you kick back and say, okay, now the storyline is actually picking up. Okay, now I kind of feel like I want to see what's going to happen in this steel cage match. So it did kick it up another notch. Cena, Ryback this week, it didn't really go anywhere. If anything, the only thing that they accomplished was that Ryback really has no spine. I mean, to see him just run out the ring as the Shield get ready to surround the ring, he just leaves Kane and Daniel Bryan in there. He's like, we'll bump this. And then, you know, to see him afterwards jump in, pretend that he's trying to help them, while really he was just waiting on the opportunity to attack John Cena, crank it up.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious who WWE wants you to boo in this match, and I just think that it's unfortunate that we had to go this route, because I was still sold on the super babyface Ryback. He's got his little music. The kids are imitating him. They want to be like him when they grow up. You know, they want to be big and strong, and the whole "feed me more" chants. It's like, nah, it's just so. I just think way too soon to turn him heel.
Well, I mean, I really think that they put themselves in a position that they didn't have a choice. It would have been better, though, if they had portrayed him as Paul Orndorff to Hulk Hogan, and he had been John Cena's best friend up until this point. Then it would have been a lot better. You know, if from when they, you know, when he gave him the title shot, you know, back in the fall, if they had been fast friends up until this point, this storyline really would be catching fire, I think. But it just seems so thrown together. And this ironically was the least watched Raw show of the year thus far. And I guess it's no need for people to be, you know, highly alarmed by that. But they were at a 2.9 in the ratings.
Yeah, I was so focused on the interview, because normally I'm kicking back and I'm paying attention to headlines, but I've just been all attention was on the interview leading into tonight. They actually scored a 2.09.
No, 2.90.
Oh, a 2.90. That's even worse.
2.90, yeah.
I'm so used to hearing 3 points.
If they scored a 2.09, it's time to fire everybody.
I was about to say, okay, well, that's still kind of bad, a 2.9.
Yeah,
I'm so used to hearing 3 point something. Damn.
Exactly. So this is the first time that they've dipped that far down in quite some time. So, I mean, I think that it's no matter what they were doing right now, you would probably have this post-WrestleMania, you know, I don't want to say burnout, but, you know, something like that.
Not this bad, though, man. I mean, you know what? If this trend continues, we just may see CM Punk back sooner than later. And that's on the real tip. I mean, we got so many people asking, when is CM Punk going to come back? CM Punk needs to save Raw. What's going on with him? And we've seen the past couple of weeks they kind of Just let that storyline just cool for a little bit. Now, they got a WWE.com exclusive in-depth look talking about what they think might be going on with CM Punk right now since he's been on hiatus. They're kind of giving you a little bit of a preview, so to speak, without really talking about it on air, but they may need him back sooner than later if this trend continues. I don't know if that really would help out a whole lot. I know there's some people, and I definitely want to get your thoughts on this, there's some people that are a little tired, surprisingly, of the Shield. And, of course, this may upset the IWC, but, you know, we got people that are saying, you know, okay, it's getting boring seeing the Shield win pretty much every single week. We need to see them lose. You know, they need to lose more often. What's your take on that?
I completely disagree with that. I think that the Shield is one of the few things WWE is doing right, and people are going to complain about everything. So it's just, you know, you have a dominant team that is winning, and some people say, I want to see them lose. We have Cesaro losing, and Ziggler was losing. I want to see them win. You get some people that's winning, and they complain. I mean, you know, whatever. Whatever with that.
And what did I tell you folks last week, the week before? We heard y'all complaining about Antonio Cesaro. We even talked about it. And I went on record week after week. I said, you know what? I think WWE, they're just in a bad spot right now where they are trying to pay attention to their top-tier guys, make sure they get the best storylines. Some folks are going to get lost in the shuffle. Cesaro was, unfortunately, one of those guys. As Katarina said earlier, when you got 8-10 writers doing some stuff, they're operating on a week-by-week basis. They're operating on an episode-by-episode. They're not doing it like a whole TV series of 24 episodes. Okay, here's the premiere, here's the finale. They're not doing it like that. So, of course, some people are going to get lost in the shuffle, and Cesaro was one of those. But based on what we saw this past Monday night and the type of promo that he gave after he beat up the jobber, Zack Ryder, basically he puts the W into the WWE. Nice little reference to the old school WWF there. I don't know. Maybe that promo that he gave was the beginning of a reignited push. I still feel that if they get ready to do a Money in the Bank pay-per-view or something like that, I still feel that he's like one of the top 3 guys that could possibly win it.
I definitely like that. Another person who's on my list for the Money in the Bank is Big E Langston.
I would love to see that. I would love to
give Big E the briefcase. Let him carry the briefcase around, and you know, Ziggler doesn't know what he's going to do with it, who he's going to cash it in with, and of course he eventually cashes it in on Ziggler.
Kind of like an evolution type of thing. When when it was time for Batista to choose between Triple H or did he have to choose between Triple H and Goldberg?
I don't think Goldberg. I can't remember, but he chose Triple H, right?
Yeah, but it was between Triple H and I wish I could remember who the champion was over on SmackDown. It's not coming to me right now. We're talking a long time there, folks. This, you know, you watch
Edge or somebody, probably Edge, maybe.
Probably, yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing that. And the third guy I think we should put in there because he needs it. And I've just loved his work for a long time. Wade Barrett.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see him in the running there.
Because, I mean, I'm looking at everybody else that's on the roster, and, I mean, unfortunately, as much as I love Sandow, he's not quite there. Not just yet.
No.
And that's because of the type of storylines that they've had him in. That's why he's not ready. But those would be the 3 to look out for that could win the next Money in the Bank. Once again, where's Christian? That's going to be my running joke. Maybe we can get that trending on Twitter. Hashtag where's Christian? You know.
Where's Christian?
I keep waiting for this dude to just pop up, man. I want to see him show up and just do the unprettier to somebody, man. It's like,
yeah, well, he may show up on the future endeavored list. So careful what you ask for.
I never thought I'd say this, but I understand the reason why, and I should have picked on Katarina's Kat's brain on this, but it's so frustrating to see how they're doing Christian, and I'm saying to myself, man, I wonder if this guy has any trepidations right now. I wonder if he has any regrets, because, man, it sure as hell looked like he was getting the time of day in TNA wrestling. You know, now...
I just don't think Vince is a big fan of his.
Nah.
I don't think he ever was.
Nah. I tell you this, if they ever brought back ECW, he'd be a good champion. But even at that, they kind of screwed him out of the title. So I don't know. I mean, it's unfortunate. It just kind of goes back to what some folks were saying about Christian's run as the World Heavyweight Champion, that he only got it because of Edge.
Well, I think that they could definitely use him right now.
They really do. They could use an extra veteran. That, you know, I mean, he might not be a Chris Jericho, you know, but he delivers some damn good matches. I mean, I can't help but think about one of those last runs he had as the World Heavyweight Champion, and as he was feuding with Randy Orton. I know some people were a little bit tired of that, but I thought that was just some phenomenal work that he was doing. Speaking of Randy Orton, I got to show you guys a link too. I'm going to post it in the chat room, and we already had posted it on Facebook. You know, Diamond, it took somebody less than 24 hours to make a video with Damian Sandow doing his little version of Randy Orton's theme song. Oh, my God. You talk about the truth really, really being at the forefront, man. You think this is WWE's way of kind of sending a message to Randy Orton that he needs to start switching things up, or?
Yes, I do. I really do. And I just don't know how well he took it, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's just I just don't know how well that went over with him. He just doesn't strike me as somebody with a sense of humor.
He does it. I mean, you combine that, and as soon as that segment went down, there was a picture of Randy Orton. It had like 9 different faces, and it said it said Randy Orton, sad, angry, upset, and his face was the same freaking still shot. But then he goes to this one image of Randy Orton, and he had his tongue all hanging out, saliva dripping down, and the joint just said Randy Orton. I'm like, damn. Oh, my God. We got our first hashtag, Where's Christian, by one of our new followers and listeners, it looks like, Clint Davis. Man, shout out to you. Thanks for following us. Let's get that trending. Hashtag, Where's Christian? That's what we need to do right now. Better yet, let's do something new. New hashtag. Clint, help us lead the way, buddy. New hashtag at WWE. Hashtag Where's Christian? I need to see that trending, okay? Share that with your friends on Twitter. Let's get that trending at WWE. Hashtag Where's Christian? Let's send a message to WWE. Let them know we want to see the unprettier come back. And I want to see it come back in style. I don't want to see Christian on Raw. He will just get lost in the shuffle. Send him to SmackDown. Let him be exclusive. He can do some good work on there. I don't know.
I definitely wanted to mention something.
Go for it.
And get your opinion on this. Jerry Lawler going back into the ring later on this month for Dory Funk Jr.'s promotion. He's going to tag with Dory Funk Jr. May the 25th. So he's going to have a match and do a meet and greet after the show. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I kind of heard a little bit about that, and man, that's a tough call, man. That is a tough call. I mean, it doesn't really sit well with me to hear that he's going to be coming back, in-ring action. You see those little silly segments on WWE Raw. Hey, Michael Cole, I just ordered a pizza from Domino's. Did you now? Did you know you can track your order online? Really? Show me how. And, we're seeing silly little segments like that, and we're seeing segments with Jerry Lawler stuffing his face with Sonic. A little bit before that, we see him stuffing his face with a little bit of Burger King. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this guy obviously has not learned his lesson, okay? I don't know what this guy is thinking. I mean, obviously, he's doing this for the love because he damn sure does not need the money. I mean, he is such a, and we need to remind you guys, for y'all that don't know, he is like a Renaissance man. The guy has written his own books. He's a very well-respected artist, phenomenal painter. He usually does some stuff for WrestleMania each year and sells some stuff for charity, things of that nature. So financially, he's in a really comfortable spot. He does not need to step foot in the ring. This is clearly a case where he's doing it for the love, to entertain the fans. My whole thing is, I don't have a problem with you entertaining the fans, but I don't really think you need to be stepping foot in the ring. Heaven forbid I have a heart attack and I'm doing some stuff I know I really don't have no business doing. I'm not going to do it again. I'm not trying to, because the next time around I might not be lucky, and that's kind of what Jerry Lawler needs to be saying to himself right now. Is he in decent shape compared to right before he went out?
I think he looks the same way to me that he did before.
He looks like he maybe have lost 10 pounds, but that really doesn't, 40 pounds is, that's noticeable. But he only looks like he lost about maybe 10 pounds. I can tell in the face area it doesn't look as heavy as it used to. But no, I don't think he should be going in the ring, and this would be my personal message to any wrestling promotion that decides they want to sign Jerry Lawler and have him wrestle. I do hope you all are signing a no liability clause, that you're having him sign that. That way, if something weird happens to him in the ring or a day or two later, you guys won't be held accountable. And nothing personal, just business. Protect your ass is what I always say. I think Vince McMahon, I don't see him letting Jerry Lawler get back in the ring.
I don't either. I wouldn't.
But
he has been medically cleared, so.
What's your take?
No, Vince won't have the King back in the ring, wrestling. He'll, walk in the ring and do some interviews, and that's it. But it's obviously in the King's blood. He has been medically cleared, so evidently he's okay. It's just, to me, just a bad feeling. You know what I mean? Just like it's just such a bad, bad feelings associated with it, and that might be us being selfish, and wanting to remember him in a certain way, and maybe for the King, it's just that he doesn't want his last memories of his last match being, that. So who knows?
I don't know. It's quite unfortunate when you think about his tenure in the WWE. I mean, he's never held the WWE title, and you're just kind of kicking back and you're saying, man, it would be nice to see him. I mean, he's way past it now. If it was maybe 5 to 10 years ago, I would say, yeah, let's see it happen. But I mean, he's way past that point now, and it's
there was a couple points in times when they could have given it to him.
Yeah, they've had opportunities. Yeah. Talk about creating a little bit of history of its own for WWE. I mean, they could have taken an inspirational story like Rocky Balboa, and they could have put Jerry Lawler in that same type of little position and have him win the WWE title. Maybe they could have had him drop it at the very next month's pay-per-view. You know.
Yep.
You know, at least he was champion for a month. They could have had him do a couple of promos every single week, you know, cross brands, go on the main event, all that, and maybe do a little tag match leading into his main event pay-per-view match with whoever, drop the title to them. Yeah, they have more than one opportunity to put the title on him. I just hope that he plays it safe and he really listens to his body, and those wrestling promotions that hire him, they got him signing a no-liability contract. And, I can just imagine the lawsuits flying left and right from his family if something weird were to go down. What other stuff had happened headlines-wise?
Well, I mean, so we are in agreement, though, that this is not a good idea.
Hell no. I'll go on record and say, hell no. He got no business being in the ring. No wrestling. No.
Also, I was expecting to see the return of The Miz last night, and still no sign of The Miz. I think that he needs some type of a character overhaul, not just his hairdo. I mean, he needs something different. What do you think about The Miz doing like the AJ Styles gimmick right now? What do you think about him doing something like that? Not talking for a while.
Oh, Lord. Miz needs a whole lot of stuff right now. It's unfortunate to see where he is right now. I mean, was the WWE champion, what was that, WrestleMania 28, 27, 28?
Yeah.
You know, we see him try to do this whole babyface run of a Ric Flair, bad figure four leg lock. I still have it in my mind. Just a terrible way he was doing the figure four. Plugging his little movie, The Marine 3, and poof, he just disappears. You know, if it was me, and I'm pausing because I'm a little frustrated with The Miz. If it was me, what I would personally do with The Miz, and this is from a writing standpoint and booking standpoint, I'd put him on the blue brand, known as SmackDown, and I would just start working him up to replace Randy Orton or Sheamus. We know those guys, they're like the top faces over there on the blue brand. We know Randy Orton has been dying to go back to being a heel. If WWE is going to pull that trigger sometime in the next 90 days, you got to have somebody slide on in to take his spot. And I think if they groom The Miz right, just let him be exclusive on the blue brand. I'm a little bit tired of seeing them take all these talents and put them on pretty much all the shows. They got to have them on Raw. Let some of them just be exclusive to, one show, and let folks know that, hey, you want to check this person out, you can see them on that brand. Leave him on there. Let him prove himself. Let him earn that trust that he can be that go-to guy, that he can be a top guy. And after he proves himself, I'm not talking, 6 months from now. I want to see him remain on SmackDown for at least a solid year. After he proves himself worthy, then maybe you can have him go on over to the Raw brand and maybe flip-flop every single week. But that's how I would handle The Miz. He has the potential to be a really good babyface. They just got to give him enough time, and put him in more believable angles. I don't think it was believable to see him rubbing elbows with Ric Flair. That just kind of seemed really forced, you know?
Really forced. It was terrible.
Yeah. I mean, would you agree with that?
It was worse than David Flair.
Would you agree with that? Put him on the blue brand?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, nothing, everything that he does is going to be seen as a step down from where he was just a few short years ago. But I think he needs to rebuild, and I think that, unfortunately, a lot of guys today have this thing where they don't want to work heel or they don't want to work face or whatever it is. And I think that when they're put in the situation of having to work what they don't like to work, they purposely don't do it well in an attempt to get back to what they really want to do. I think that that's been part of what Randy Orton has been going through. I think that Randy Orton obviously wants to be a heel, and I think that he's been purposely screwing up so he can, and just rolling in mediocrity so he can get back to being a heel. And I think that Miz could have done a better job as a face, but I think he wants to be a heel.
Yeah.
But that kind of stuff can cost you your job.
It's really amazing when you just, I can't help but think of John Morrison. You know, I'm trying to think about the Miz, but I keep thinking about John Morrison. Put him on a blue brand, just let him work it out one there, and work his way to being the top baby face, and let him go from there. That's what I would do with him. I mean, if you can't have him get things right on the blue brand, then maybe you should demote him to Superstars, NXT. I hate saying that, but if he can't get it right on the blue brand, what's that?
Could he be successful in TNA?
Miz in TNA?
Yeah.
Possibly. I have Randy Orton succeeding more than The Miz.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, you just think about the generations. What's Randy Orton, third generation? I look at a guy like Miz, and I'm just not really, if you were to put him in a TNA environment, I'm just not buying. Order Slammiversary. Miz versus James Storm for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. That just doesn't, I got James Storm just bitching to hell. Not that boy. That doesn't really, Miz defends his TNA World Heavyweight title against the immortal Hulk Hogan. I just, no, Miz defends his title against Joseph Park. I just, no. No. What I see happening for Miz is at Slammiversary, Miz defends the X Division title against Sanjay Dutt. That's what I see for Miz. Yeah.
Nah, I would at least put him at the TV title point. But I think him being an ex-WWE champion, that's gonna move would move him to the front of the line there.
X Division all the way, baby. No. What other headlines have went down?
Well, very interesting. Stephanie McMahon will be featured in a Muscle magazine, highlighting her workout routine and some pretty, I don't want to say racy, but pretty surprising photos of Stephanie working out in a bikini. She seems kind of jacked up.
Well, it's after midnight now, so I can definitely jump out there and say I can just imagine how many guys are going to be whacking off to that when it comes out. Dude, Yeah, Stephanie McMahon, she is a MILF, no doubt about that. And Triple H, he's got to be patting himself on the back saying, "That a girl, baby. That's how you get 'em. Work those abs, you know." You know, I'm not going to fake. I'll definitely buy it. I will probably buy 3 copies. I will probably buy one to actually read, look at the pictures, sell one on eBay, and have another one. Maybe I can get it autographed by her that I could sit up and frame or whatever. That's how I usually work when it comes to, you know, WWE superstars gracing the cover of magazines that's not WWE related. I wouldn't mind checking it out. But she looks phenomenal. I remember some pics that she did for some magazine. It wasn't Muscle and Fitness. It was another one that she did. And I'm like, wow. She looks like she needs to come back to the Divas division, like, full time and show those damn girls how it's done. Because if anybody can really take that division to where it needs to go, I'm looking at Stephanie.
Yeah, I don't see that happening anymore, but I definitely agree with that.
You know, speaking of
Divas,
Divas,
she may come back. She may come back later on, like Vince came back, you know, some years into what should have been the twilight.
Yeah. For those that's curious, no, we are not. I repeat, not, because we have lives and we love what we do. And we love our schedule just as it is, Diamond and I. We are not going to do a 30-minute Raw pre-show. I don't care what Yahoo and WWE are doing. Kudos to them. They're doing their little 30-minute Raw pre-show. They're really asking for fans' patience, because you're asking them to kick back and do 30 minutes, and then you're asking them to watch 3+ hours of WWE programming. You know, where was the focus group?
3+ hours. A lot of people get it confused. It's not really 3+ hours. It's really about 2.5 hours. If you add in all the commercial breaks, it's really just 2.5 hours. And you know, a lot of people act like it's such a chore to watch it. It's you know. Of course, if you try to sit down, but I mean, if you're walking around, you're doing other things. When the commercials come on, you're leaving the room, you're doing something else. It's not so bad. It's about 2.5 hours. The average football game is 3 hours. It evens out the same. I don't hear people saying, "Oh my God, the Giants and whoever, it was just such a chore." I mean, you watch the game, you want to see it, you're excited about it. It's the same length, commercials. You know. I think that we're just used to it being a certain amount of time, and when it changed, a lot of people were just, you know, it wasn't necessarily a needed change.
I'm not crapping on WWE's deal with Yahoo. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that it's definitely groundbreaking. I definitely think this really gives them an opportunity to even extend further and reaching out to new audiences, you know, especially if they do this pre-show right. That makes you want to check it out. And just by the way that they're teaming, you know, I think it has the potential to be really good. For some folks, it might be more of a highlight than watching the actual Raw, because, you know, sometimes we know Raw can be hit or miss, but we still keep coming back to it. Yeah, my hat's off to them. And then we got the whole Bella Twins and that WWE Divas thing. I'm curious, are you going to watch that? It's supposed to premiere in June on E!
Probably not. I mean, not consistently. I may watch the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see it holding my attention.
Yeah, I'm with you. I probably might watch the first 3 just to get a sense of it. It's really kind of hard for me to really embrace it, especially knowing that it's produced by WWE, and after all, spoiler, it is scripted, so there's probably some scenes that maybe Vince McMahon is kind of looking at, and he's probably saying, cut. I didn't like that. You need to cry a little more, and once you bring up that story about your puppy dying a while back, you know, really work the camera, you know. it'd be kind of hard for me to really invest into it. I will say this: I think WWE is doing a really smart move. And somebody was asking me the other day, when do you think the WWE Network is going to premiere? We're already seeing it. We're seeing them doing their thing on Yahoo. We're seeing them doing their thing on E. You know, we're seeing them do their thing on the USA Network, Univision Network. We're seeing them do their thing on the Ion channel. We're seeing them do their thing on Sci-Fi. We already are watching the WWE Network. They just don't have all the shows grouped together on one freaking channel yet. You know,
this is all part of a strategy for WWE. They're trying to show, the popularity of the WWE product, and this is all to help the eventual launch of the WWE Network, and it is going to launch. They're trying to diversify as much as possible, and all this is going to be for data purposes to show the cable, providers that they can deliver.
Mm-hmm. And it's a damn good smart strategy, because you look at the struggles before. It was, okay, the networks, they aren't really sure that the WWE Network can be successful. You know, the list of channels, the type of shows that they have, it has potential, but they aren't really sure because it hasn't been tested out yet. So, yeah, what they're doing right now, it's freaking awesome, because when they do get ready to launch the network, they can take these same shows and have them all be on that one network. What's that one show that had a lot of people talking that they did? House of Legends or something like that?
Legends House.
Legends House, yeah. I know they're trying desperately to find a network that can start airing that this summer, because it was taped in 2012. So they want to hurry up and get that series out before it gets a little too old. So there's a couple of networks that's in the finals to possibly get the series. I don't know if it's going to be E, but we are slowly seeing the WWE Network. I mean, you're seeing a taste of what they can do, and then you combine that with their movies. I mean, honestly, I don't really give WWE enough praise, but I like where they're going right now with the way that they've been handling their connections with all these other different affiliates, even on Hulu. I think they've been doing a phenomenal job on that. They came at the right time with Hulu. A lot of people wondered a couple of years back, Hulu, is it really worth investing in? And now we're starting to see that there's original shows that you can check out. It's really starting to become a pretty popular place. WWE, they just hats off to them. They've been doing a really great job in getting their name out there. And leave it to Triple H, man. Talk about one good thing going into another. Leave it to Triple H to cut a promo talking about Mother's Day this weekend and telling folks to, support the Susan G. Komen Foundation. It's good stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's kind of hard for me, I know I said that, and I know some people are probably waiting for me to put a little joke out there. Here's your joke. It is kind of funny to kind of see Triple H do that, and, you kind of just kick back and say to yourself, I'm the motherfucker that bashes people's heads with a sledgehammer. I'm the game, and then you kind of see him do this nice, warm, soft, and cuddly commercial about breast cancer, and, it's like, it's kind of hard to picture Triple H just bloodied and Brock Lesnar bloodied in a steel cage, but that's just me. What other headlines went down, bro?
Rey Mysterio has resurfaced, coincidentally at a Hulu event with Sergeant Slaughter, so that's kind of a weird combination. He's definitely at the twilight of his career. Definitely.
Don't even get me started.
Future Hall of Famer?
Oh, no doubt. Rey Mysterio's going to get in. Yeah, he's locked in. I know he's probably going to be with WWE for life, and he earns it. He's proven that he can be very loyal to one promotion. He's been very loyal to them. My hat's off to him for his loyalty. But that's about as nice as I can get with Rey Mysterio. If he's smart, he just kick on back and just retire already and make the transition to helping out the younger guys in the back. Maybe he could do some color commentating for WWE Espanol. I think that would be a really great transition for him. And that's no joking. I'm very serious. I think if you put a Rey Mysterio alongside a color Spanish commentator to call some of the matches, I think that would make that Latin audience want to tune in even more, as he can really take you into the psychology of what's going on in the ring. I definitely think it would be a good transition for him. But I repeat, and I can't stress this enough, I don't want to see Rey Mysterio back in the ring. If it was maybe 5 years ago, Rey Mysterio, yeah, sure. But he's just too damn banged up. I'm tired of looking at him and wondering when's he going to break his ACL.
That's really nice of you. Nice.
That's the truth, man.
The main event for the pay-per-view is going to be a last man standing match with Ryback and John Cena. First of all, how much do you think that they have twisted the injury, quote unquote, of Cena? I'm beginning to think he wasn't injured at all.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was kind of marinating on it, and you guys are gonna love this. Just this is some poof. What the fuck? Okay, I'm looking at all this stuff as it's going down, right? And I couldn't help but say to myself, Diamond, I wonder if WWE is kind of taking a jab at The Rock. Because, you sit up, you hear him getting a little injury at WrestleMania. He still went on through the match, and then he opted to do rehab first, but then upon further evaluation, they recommended to him that he get surgery, so he got the surgery. And, a lot of people are saying, oh, is he done? Is he done? And even he kind of went on record and said, you know what? I really kind of feel as though what I did this year was my last. I wouldn't rule out a return, but the way things are right now, I don't see myself coming back. You just see WWE, they've just been kind of quietly dropping the little Rock plugs here and there. And...
Definitely.
Kind of like, oh, Rock, we still like you, come on back, but, they haven't really, since all that went down, they haven't really been talking about his latest movie projects or anything like that. It's like last Rock reference was basically, hey, Rock is 100%. And then for them to acknowledge that potential matchup between he and Brock Lesnar on Monday Night Raw, I thought that was the most beautiful, subtle touch that you could do for a rivalry. To have Brock Lesnar just walking down the hall, and he's looking at all the WWE pay-per-view posters, and Heyman is saying, there's not one single freaking image of you in this office. What's up with that? And then Lesnar just stops, sees that Rock poster plug in the Royal Rumble, and Brock is just looking at it for a few seconds, and we finally hear Heyman say, this guy. And you're like, oh, damn. You couldn't help but kind of feel that little sting. It's like, damn. I just look at all that's going on, the injury with The Rock, and then I look at John Cena, and I'm thinking to myself, it's funny. He supposedly gets this injury overseas. WWE doesn't exactly reveal the full details and the extent of the injury, or if he's going to even need to take time off. And then we're seeing this guy, I'm going to be okay. Now, before that even went down, we're hearing he's supposed to take a couple of weeks off in May. He's supposed to be replaced by New Age Outlaws, Shawn Michaels. But the way it's looking right now, that's probably not going to happen at this point. So, yeah,
Right.
I'm kind of looking at the angle, and I'm kind of saying to myself, I think this is just a freaking ploy to try to help John Cena get over, while at the same time, I strongly feel that this is WWE's way of trying to take a little bit of a knock at The Rock and saying, yeah, John Cena, he can work through whatever. He's not a baby. Notice the reference that he made Monday night. He's been wrestling hurt since 2002, and it's never going to stop him. He's going to keep on main event. He's going to keep on doing what he's doing. I can't help but put the two together.
Well, it's funny because I didn't even look at it like that, as taking a shot at The Rock. I more so looked at it as another attempt of theirs to get the fans that don't like Cena to maybe cool off on him a little bit and to cut him some slack. I took it as something like that. Them trying to show his quote unquote toughness. I just thought it was kind of lame because, when you reference, they reference Kobe. Kobe's out for a year with this injury. Okay, clearly, this is not the same injury that Kobe had. If this was the injury that Kobe had, Cena would not even be walking. Okay, so this is, it's just, it's that type of stuff that makes people not like Cena. If you're hurt, act hurt. That's how you get the people's respect, not by trying to, when he does that, nothing phases me stuff. It's just so unrealistic. I hated the promo that he cut with his, yes, no stuff that he was doing, a la, Daniel Bryan. It's just typical Cena, and we can see now that he is not going heel anytime soon, if ever.
And it's so funny because now it looks like the new DNA that's part of John Cena is to take key elements from other wrestlers that are him over, right, and using it to try to help himself get over with the fans. The Fandangoing, the Daniel Bryan chants. Now he's even kind of picking on Ryback a little bit, which, by the way, and I got to go on record, I said it Monday night on the RCWR show live on YouTube, but I can't stress this enough. I think that what John Cena did of Ryback on Monday, he really, really just ripped Ryback a new asshole. I mean, the way he just cut down the man, I just couldn't help but sit there, and I didn't even think they were funny, the jokes that he made about Ryback. Ryback, Cena, you left me alone to fight the Shield 6 times. John Cena, you still owe me $1.60 from 8 years ago. I didn't think that was funny, and I just thought it was just really poor how he just cut him down like that.
But that's typical Cena.
It's typical Cena, but I mean, man,
typical
you're supposed to make a critical decision about what stipulation you want to have in your match against this man who is not joking around. He wants to destroy you and take away your title, and you're making light of him just as you do every other opponent. And folks that are Ryback fans, I'm sorry. If this continues, the way John Cena is operating with Ryback, we're going to be sitting up 6 months from now, and we're going to be saying, damn, remember when Ryback had a lot of good momentum going? Now he's in the shitter, just like Alberto Del Rio.
Yep. Cena has not, and I challenge any of our listeners to come up with this. Cena has not made anyone. I'm talking about, if you go back to his early feuds, I'm talking about back with Carlito on forward. He has not built up anyone. I can't think of any feud that his opponent was left in a better position than he was going in.
And I've been watching him for a long time. I can definitely go on record and say, and this is so funny because you can compare the two beasts, and a Triple H and a John Cena. Remember, everybody was saying for a long time, when is Triple H going to do the D? When's he going to try to put some? We finally did see Triple H do that right before he made that full transition and being a WWE.
Jericho has. Shawn Michaels has. Flair's done it.
Even Edge, in a small way, even he's done the right thing to kind of put somebody over.
I mean, Hogan's been kicking and screaming, but he has done it.
Hell, Hogan's kind of doing it now, and he's not even wrestling. Yeah. He's putting older guys over, but he's doing it. He's putting Bully Ray over.
He's definitely put Bully Ray over.
Yeah, he's definitely getting Matt Morgan over. No, John Cena has not put anybody over. That says a lot.
Yeah, that and the stupid jokes and the never acting like he's in jeopardy. These are the things that people don't like about him. And charity stuff is good, but
someone had a very valid comment, and I don't want to pick your brain on this. They said that the only reason why Ryback is in this position in the first place is because CM Punk is out.
I don't agree with that. I mean, the thing is that if CM Punk was there, is the guy saying or the girl saying that we would be watching a Punk Cena feud right now? I don't think so.
If anything, maybe a triple threat.
I think that when Punk comes back, he's going to be in the title picture. I think at this point you keep Cena and Punk away from each other. They're going to have to go back to it eventually. But I just don't think that an in-between pay-per-view like Extreme Rules would be where they would go back to a Cena and a Punk feud.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know, man. I'm looking at the card for Extreme Rules, and I'm just thinking about it in my head. Some of the matches that was already announced, and we'll go more in depth about it next Tuesday night. But I'm looking at that one match between Ryback, Cena, last man standing match, and though you may have announced a gimmick, I still can't help but look at the World Heavyweight title that's going to be contested in a ladder match and just compare those two with the Lesnar Triple H. I still feel the match that's going to have a lot of people talking is going to be the ladder match. You got three guys in there that are very technical, when needed. I mean, God, you put a ladder in there, I think folks are really going to be talking about that match the most. Second place, I'd give it to Lesnar versus Triple H.
Yeah, I think you're
right. Good show tonight. We went into a little bit of overtime here. For those of you that want to check this out on the downloads, Blog Talk Radio listeners, you guys will be able to hear this whole episode. I know usually I'm kicking back, remixing stuff after the show's over. So for you YouTube guys, I'll actually split this up in two parts. We'll do the first part with the Katarina interview, and then we'll just have the second part, me and Diamond doing our thing. And that's going to do it. Now, quick programming note. Thursday night, you want to hop on over to YouTube for Impact Showdown Live. It comes on at 10 p.m. Eastern. We're going to cover the fallout from TNA Wrestling. And it's live. I love it when we get it back live. It always kind of makes me feel a little sad when it's pre-taped. But it's coming back live. We'll talk about the fallout from it. Also talk about the latest in TNA Wrestling headlines. I think we had got a couple of new listeners tonight. A couple of new people jumped in, popped in and out of the chat room. If you enjoy what we did, make sure you go visit our profile page at blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR show. And there's an option, as you're looking at our page, for you to follow. You'll see it on the left-hand side. Just click on that, and it might ask you for like your email info or whatever. But other than that, you'll always get alerts on upcoming episodes that we're going to be doing. And once again, you'll be able to catch that exclusively on YouTube, Impact Showdown Live, this Thursday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. Blog Talk Radio listeners, you'll get the episode on the downloads about an hour after we get done on YouTube. This programming note. So we know there's some of you that like to call in. We're still trying to work on that. I definitely want to work with you, and we'll talk about it more after the show. But I know that we have those of you that tune in on Thursday nights. I know there's some of you that work night shifts and all that. Y'all can't be in front of a computer. You guys like to call in. We're going to try to see if there's a way we can maybe do a simulcast for you guys. But just for the time being, until we can have everything smoothed out, for Thursday nights, we're going to be on YouTube with Impact Showdown Live. And that's going to do a special guest to the beautiful and the lovely Miss Katarina Waters. Really great interview right there. And we got more guests, Diamond, that's going to be coming up. We'll go into all the names on Thursday. We got some cool names coming up. We got one name I can tell you guys off the break. Next Tuesday night, you want to make sure you join us 11 p.m. Eastern. We got the beautiful and the lovely, luscious Latasha. She's going to be stopping by the show. You may be a little bit familiar with her work in Shine Wrestling. She's actually participating in the TNA gut check voting contest that's going on online. She's going to drop in and let us know what all she's been up to and talk all things wrestling with us. So check that out. That's definitely next Tuesday night. But this Thursday we'll actually give you guys a couple of more names of people that's going to be dropping by as all month long. That's what we got, people dropping by saying hello. That's going to do it. Diamond, good show tonight, buddy. And, yeah, damn good show tonight. I loved it. Thank you to all of you that had tuned in tonight. If it was your first time, make sure you follow us. I gave you the links already. Be sure to also follow us on Twitter. You can hit Diamond K up at the Diamond K Show, Facebook, Instagram, all that. You can also follow the RCWR Show on Twitter, at the RCWR Show. Also follow us at Infinity One Prod. For a little bit of news you can use, check us out on Facebook, Infinity One Productions. Give the page a like. That's going to do it. Enjoy the rest of the NBA action that's on. I know I'm probably going to be able to check out the post show if it's still on with Charles Barkley and them. We'll see you guys this Thursday night. Everybody, be safe, be kind to one another. Take care.